Leslie Wells, Connection Coach here. Let's talk today about some of the distorted viewpoints that go when you really begin digging down into your attachment style. So I'm Leslie Wells, a Connection Coach. I help individuals find deeper, better connections in their romantic relationships by focusing on attachment theory. And so when we really start digging into our attachment styles, we'll find that we have very distorted perceptions about ourselves and our partners usually, and other people. And this is where most of the work takes place to be able to find healing. And so today we're going to look at the fearful avoidant and one of their distorted perceptions based on one of their deep core wounds. So the fearful avoidant is a combination of avoidant and anxious attachment styles. It has characteristics of both types of attachment styles. And when you look at the fearful avoidant, their big core wound is betrayal or a trust wound, but they also a lot of times will have another underlying feeling of that they are often taken advantage of or used. So when we really start digging down into that, when someone says, oh, I feel like I'm taken advantage of it, and I know that they're a fearful avoidant, when we really look into it, it's not so much that they are being taken advantage of or used, it's more that they are self-abandoning. So because the fearful avoidant really desires to feel safe because they're always worried that their partner is going to do something to hurt or betray them, they're constantly seeking safety because that makes them feel good if that's their biggest core wound is being hurt or betrayed. So while they're looking for that safety, a lot of times they will try to earn that safety by people pleasing or through works. They just feel like if they do enough, if they are enough, if they overcompensate, that their person will think twice about betraying them or hurting them, and that they'll just become safer because their partner will see all that they're doing and want to honor them and protect them and do the right thing by them. So the fearful avoidant will just do all of these things through works, overcompensate, overdo, just give more than they should without their partner necessarily asking for it or even their partner expecting it, but they're just putting that weight on themselves to make themselves feel safe and to try to earn the approval of their partner so that their partner will become safe and stay safe for them. Unfortunately, what happens is then the fearful avoidant will start to build resentment because they're looking at the situation and they're thinking, I'm doing all of this stuff. I'm trying so hard. I'm putting in all this effort, and their partner may not be putting in the same level of effort or they don't feel it. Sometimes they just don't see it even though it's happening. Especially if their partner tends to lean avoidant, they're going to feel like I'm putting in all this effort and I'm trying so hard and this person is not doing the same thing back and they're not feeling safe. So this resentment starts to build up, and then eventually a lot of times they will just blow, because remember, the fearful avoidants a lot of times are the ones that during conflict will just blow up and put it all out there. Anything that's ever been wrong in the relationship, their trauma response a lot of times is straight to fight. But the reality is the fearful avoidant is not communicating correctly because of their attachment wounds. What they're doing is they are doing protest behaviors. They're not actually speaking clearly and directly and communicating with the other person for them to even know where they're supposed to show up in the relationship. So let me give you an example. Let's say that I go out to lunch with a friend once a week, and I've noticed that the past 4 or 5 times I've paid for lunch and she has not offered to pay for lunch. And so in my head, I'm starting to get upset. As I go to pay for the 5th or 6th time, I'm thinking to myself, well, this person is not paying. And so my core belief as a fearful avoidant, and one of the things that sticks with me and that my inner belief system is, this person is taking advantage of me. Because remember, I don't trust people, so that's naturally where I go. So in my head, I'm thinking, I can't trust this person is taking advantage of me. And then the next thought that comes from that belief system is, she's really just not a good friend. She's not showing up the way I want. And then that might be followed by a behavior of me canceling lunch dates from then on out. So you see how that incorrect, distorted belief and that viewpoint will then lead to a negative thought that leads to a negative reaction that is going to affect our friendship. In reality, the healthy thing to do would be to approach my friend and say, hey, do you mind if we trade off, or have clear, direct communication as to what I am expecting and what it's going to look like when we go out to lunch. Because chances are that person has not thought about it, or maybe in their head, they're thinking, oh, well, clearly she's more financially well off if she keeps offering to get lunch, or she keeps taking the tab, or maybe they think that I like that and they would be dishonoring me by taking that away from me, because some people do like to do those things. So you see how attachment style, the core wounds and the belief systems of each attachment style can really create a distorted perception that can then not only affect the person who is suffering because they're believing things that are not true and they're negative things that are causing distrust in people that they maybe shouldn't be distrusting, but it also goes and into our relationships and affects those that we're trying to be in relationship with. So if there's something that you can relate to in this, or maybe you are noticing that you have some of your own belief systems that are just affecting your relationship, or maybe you're not even aware of it, but you want to dig and see if they're there and they exist, I would love for you to reach out to me.